In a world where there are so many hardcore disputes, we often turn to sport in order to bring a little peace and quiet to our lives. Then we are faced with massive corruption, witch hunts, illegal drugs, unhappy fans, and the uproar over something as simple as having a brand name stitched across the uniform. You thought this was all about relaxation and sport? Come on now. Welcome to MidPoint, the most trusted and learned man when it comes to the business of sport, more connected than Mark Cuban, more knowledgeable about what goes on behind the scenes than LeBron James. Syndicated sports business specialist, the sports professor, Rick Horrow. That was worth $20 there if that was worth
Syndicated
a nickel.
sports professor, say that about 10 times. How do I follow that? It's like the world is falling apart, but if you want to look at sports, it's falling apart quicker. Yeah. And here's the way I'm going to describe it. All right, it'll get better.
It really is falling apart. Let's go ahead and start out with FIFA, whom I have called, but then again, I've called FIFA the most corrupt sports organization on the planet, but I'm not sure if it's FIFA, the IOC, or two or three others, the NCAA, you could go on. But FIFA, the report of allegations of corruption during the bidding process for the 2018 and 2022 World Cups. Now the investigator who did it has questioned it. Even he said they're letting Qatar and Moscow off the hook. Shouldn't we expect this? Because, quite frankly, it is a corrupt organization. Give Qatar the World Cup in the middle of a heat wave?
Well, I can't define whether they're a corrupt organization or not based on the information I've got, but I will say
that was a really good lawyer answer.
It is. But here's the thing. Qatar for 2022 is going to be really difficult because forget the heat wave. They forgot to read the memo that it's going to be 900 degrees and you're going to have covered stadiums, but it's going to be hard to get to these stadiums. It impacts the entire soccer schedule if the change is to move it to the winter, which a lot of people are talking about. And everybody in international soccer is saying, we're not going to change our schedule around just for that. That's a really bad example. The Qatar bid said we're going to take these dollars and we're going to put collapsible stadiums together and we're going to donate those stadiums to Africa and otherwise. Well, that remains to be seen. I will say this, if that happens, it's a darn good legacy, but let's all hold our breath, hold their feet to the fire.
Is it just the fact that everything that happens in the World Cup, if FIFA has got their hands in it, that there is this, there is the underhanded, go ahead and pay me behind the back?
Underhanded, overhanded, whatever it is, the bottom line is Qatar has the oil resources and they basically paid for the bid. And if we accept that as a cost of doing business, I think things will be a lot easier. Everybody's kind of walking away from that. That becomes the trouble. So they have the resources. They can fund all of this. Let them do it is the answer. But let's make sure it doesn't screw up not only the FIFA opportunity for the World Cup, but all soccer schedule in and of itself. So they have a lot of splaining to do, as you like to say.
They got more splaining to do than you and I have time for here.
Right.
The new commissioner of baseball is going to have a lot of splaining to do because, quite frankly, you've still got A-Rod sitting out there. You've got the Roger Clemens case that's still sitting there. You've got all these different cases sitting there in front of him, and people still don't trust Major League Baseball. There's still the feeling that in the Alex Rodriguez case, even baseball went too far to go ahead and convict one guy. So what is it that Rob Manfred's got to do to try and start cleaning this game up?
Well, first, Ed, let's define what we mean by sitting there. Everybody understands that there has been a penalty. There's been a fact-finding. They had the Mitchell report, which outlined what the names were, and then Bud Selig, pictured here, said we're going to crack down on these steroid users. Now, Rod Manfred, pictured here, is also going to try to define how to deal with the Hall of Fame. That's a bigger issue than anything else because it deals with the legacy of baseball. And I personally don't like the idea of the baseball writers deciding who took too many steroids and who didn't. So there has to be.
I'll agree with you there. The baseball writers, and I have a lot of them who are great friends of mine at the BBWAA, but there's too much emotion and there's too much extracurricular that goes on there, and they should not be voting for it.
Well, also, independent of the whole steroids issue, they're reporting on the news. They shouldn't be making the news. And so there needs to be a clear direction from baseball on what's going to happen relative to the Hall of Fame, and that needs to be one of Rob Manfred's first tasks in office.
All right, now let's go ahead and talk about tasks when it comes down to a sport. NASCAR not long ago was making millions. Everybody was happy. Now you've got televised fights that go on all the time. You have the drivers getting into it afterwards, which is good because some people like what happens there.
I'm ready to get into it with you. There's no issue there.
Anytime. I'll give you the first shot right here. Okay?
No, you won't be alive for the second shot.
I'll give you the freebie, all right? But NASCAR now is having problems. Their ratings are down. Their races are not sold out. People are not happy. Is the bloom off the rose now from NASCAR?
No, I don't think so. I think there's an economic transition that's involved in this. I'll be down at Homestead for the race. Everybody's tweaking this new formula. Chase and the Sprint Cup, people are happy with it. Look at the sponsors. Sponsors are very happy. Xfinity, Comcast Business taken over for the Nationwide Series. So as conference musical chairs happens, look for the groups that step in, and you'll see that sponsors are happy. Now you've got to define the issue of making sure that there's entertaining racing. NBC, Turner, the ESPN family of networks, all excited about it. And by the way, now we have a new partner with Fox, or an extended partner with Fox. So bottom line is the bloom is not off the rose. You just got to have some entertaining races. You know, how about a little bit of brawling after a race? Yeah, we're doing it.
You're all for that, then. Just go ahead and put out the ring and give him a set of gloves and let him go. Come on, the fans would love it.
I'm ready to hit the guy I'm closest to. That's the bottom line.
That's okay.
One shot.
Justin's right off set right there. He's all set. Trust me, he's not that far at all.
I don't hit people whose necks I can't find. By the way.
That's cold. Well, it's only because he's a Dolphin fan. Let's get to it now. Last thing here, you talk about sponsor money. The National Hockey League is very seriously. Now, we've heard this before. This is nothing real new, but now they seem to be serious. They want to put the names of sponsors on the jerseys, which then would probably lead to baseball, might even to football, might even to basketball. Wait a minute. It's done in soccer. It's done all around the world. So why is there such an outcry over this?
Yeah, and what's your problem with that? I mean, the bottom line is that this is one of those things that if you really want to get corporate money so you don't have to increase ticket prices and you don't have to find other people who are going to be dealing with those dollars, then put it in there. Basketball, hockey, maybe football, maybe baseball, I would predict in the next 3 to 4 years will all have corporate logos on their jerseys.
But let's go ahead, and you just brought up a good point. If you're going to spend that, or if you're going to have that kind of money rolling in, you better tell the fans that ticket prices are going to be held down. Otherwise, the fans are going to see you just making more money and the ticket prices come up. Oh, wait, hang on a sec. Wait a minute, I'm having an attack of common sense. That's going to happen regardless.
How about the players? So the players need the bargaining position to make sure that the dollars that are available, the corporate revenue that's being generated, 50-50 split of all revenue with the NBA. You have the head of the NBA Players Association who's now making the argument, well, these owners never play, so you've got to make sure that they understand that the players are the ones who cause the game to be exciting and popular. Yeah, but the owners build the factories, and the owners take the risks of the franchises. So just because you have a new lump of revenue, that doesn't automatically mean it's going to go to the people who deserve to have it gone to.
How long before sponsors wind up on the jerseys of college football?
Wow, there's an interesting question. I think that does happen, and I do think it happens shortly after it does at the pro level. We're not that far away, pal.
And then we're going to have the players there, too, as well, who are trying to unionize. They're going to say, wait a minute, you're making more money.
Big 12, Big 10 already got governance structures in place for all of this, and it may happen very soon that the players get economic rewards, not stipends necessarily, but medical benefits, full guaranteed scholarships and the like. They're moving in the right direction.
You and Justin going to the Dolphin game tonight. Don't worry. Don't tell him it's going to be a tough game.
Hey, I publicly apologize, by the way, Justin.
And he doesn't publicly apologize
to anybody,
many people.
certainly not to you.
Trust me on this one. Short break. We're back with the Money Master, and still on the dance card, former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich, right here on MidPoint.